Hey, what's good, everyone? This is V Marie, also known as your girl V92. Just wanted to come to you guys with another good and sweet video today. Today I'm going to be talking about dating, and I'm going to use some of my examples. I just actually came from a date not too long ago with a man that one of my friends works with. Apparently he had been wanting to talk to me for a while, so we linked up. Basically, the name of this video, and he's a very sweet man, a little arrogant, more arrogant than what I like. He's not very God, what's the word? He's just not very down to earth. As I am. I'm a very laid back person. He's kind of like jittery. He is, one of those, he's a great black man. And I had a good time overall. But a couple of things that are not my type, but I appreciate it. I actually enjoyed myself. Anyway, the name of this video is going to be why black women don't tend to go after more professional black men. Why black women, and I'm not sticking up for black women who date thugs. I don't date thugs. The women I know don't date thugs. But this is going to be explaining why black women tend to go for men that are more laid back, bad boys or thugs, whatever. I've been in instances where I noticed that black men who are educated, black men who are in the professional, who work in professional environments, black men who generally are more on top of their game, they tend to be a little bit more arrogant. And they tend to be a little bit more rude. I that's just a lot, that's just my opinion on it. I work in a nonprofit organization where we help youth of the ages of 18 through 24. We help them with their learning and development, basically giving them classes on business communication, how to prepare for the corporate environment, how to go into an interview. We help them build their resumes. We help them get placed into internships, and we help them find employment afterwards. So it's mainly geared towards minorities. And the location I work at, it's very mixed. There are a lot of people that work there. It's not a lot of Caucasian people there. It's very mixed, and there are about as equal. There's an equally amount of black men that work there, and an equally amount of black women that work there. So we it's not one of those things where we're all distant. One thing that I noticed though, there's a specific guy that I work with, and he kind of reminded me of the guy that I went out on my date with. He's a very good-looking black man. Well, he's an okay-looking black man. He's decent-looking. He is very intelligent, very knowledgeable, but he's an asshole. We got into a discussion, and he's like, black women, they always go for the loser types, blah, blah, blah. And I had to think back of, even the examples of them. I'm like, I don't agree with a lot of black women going towards losers and thugs and etc. But I see why sometimes. These men can be very fucking arrogant and can be some assholes. Just like this guy. He's very intelligent, but he is an asshole. He thinks that he knows everything. You know what I mean? He's one of those men that are like, um, whoa. You might say something, you'd be like, oh, well, I think that, blah, 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 whatever. He's like, well, you're wrong. It's actually, and I noticed that a lot of educated black men are like that. I'm like, that's probably why a lot of black women tend to stay away from them, because they're assholes. They're jerks. And they're not very fun to be around sometimes. They're very, too technical. They don't know how to relax. They don't know how to have fun. They don't know how to, I can't really explain it sometimes, And I'm like, see me, I know a lot of women are not like myself. Like, I know how to crack the code. You know what I mean? I know men like that. I know what their niche is. I know how to converse with them. I know how to maneuver with them. Because, hell, I've grew up around men like that my whole life. But that's an insight. A lot of these educated black men are very, very cocky. Not very enjoyable when you're going out on a date with somebody and they act like they are fucking better than you. And I think that's why a lot of black women tend to stay away from these type of men. Even more to support my claim is I had a talk with a couple of my girlfriends. We don't really get to meet up with each other like we usually do. But we talked about this as well, and she's like, you know what? She's like, if I can just find a black man who is down to earth, who isn't an asshole, who isn't arrogant, who is in the same educational field as I am, that would be awesome. But a lot of these men, black men, because there's not a lot of them available, people could say whatever they want. There really are not that many good black men available. So what happens is these men know that they are in demand, and they tend to kind of like, string you along, and they tend to be a little bit more arrogant, a little bit more asshole-ish. I know that's not a word, that's my fucking word. They tend to be more asshole-ish. And they kind of, play around until they find the perfect white woman or something like that. Because I guess those are the only women that can handle their arrogant asses. But anyway, I'm just running on a tangent. That's just something that I wanted to talk about. I truthfully believe that because more educational black men are assholes and arrogant and uptight and not very fun, black women tend to avoid them like the plague. All right? What are your guys' thoughts? Am I right or am I wrong? Am I being unreasonable? Do you guys share the same points of view? All right?